stiff there for a while. Yeah.
All right. Glad.
Just trying to find a position for it.
Take care of yourself. Yeah. If you need another pillow, let me know. Okay.
Okay, my Sifu.
Thank you. So tonight's talk is on structure and how structure is freedom. In my book, The Dojo X, my next book for entrepreneurs, founders, and senior leaders, that chapter 3 is about structure is freedom. And I'm going through it one final time before I give it to an editor. And so as I listened to that, I wrote it about 6 months ago. So now I'm listening to it. And boy, did it bring up how I hated structure. Well, growing up, I pushed against structure. My dad was all about structure in the temple and doing things a certain way every time. And going into the dojo for judo, it was all about structure. And it was me constantly fighting up in my mind and not wanting structure. And so I was thinking about that, of how much I argued and fought against the structure that people would put in place for me. And as I grew older and started to develop companies, and I remember starting my first company not wanting any structure. I just wanted to show up when I didn't want it to. I wanted to wake up when I wanted to. I was like just pushing against what I thought was something that was so bad. And then as I started to see, as things got busier and the company started to grow, that as I started to implement the structure in the companies, that it really gave me a sense of where I could not have to think so much and actually be myself more. And so as an entrepreneur, that became essential and vital for me to create structure so that I didn't have to try and keep everything up in my head and think all the time. And the main one was the calendar. I really didn't like having a calendar and being where I'd say I'm operating by a calendar. I wanted the freedom to be flexible, and I wanted the freedom to be spontaneous, and I thought that was the way to freedom. And what I got to really see was that by having a calendar and having, for me, what I would call time blocks or things structured, that it gave me space where I didn't have to think as much, and I could just really just, in my words, be myself. Of like, I wake up in the morning and my mind wants me to figure out what's happening during the day, and I could show up and I could get up in the morning. I didn't have to think. I knew I was going to sit at 4 a.m. I had put a time block from 4 to 5 a.m. was my meditation time. And so I started to see how form is freedom. And so for a long time, I still operate where I put most of my things in the calendar. And so that keeps me where I don't have to think as much by having things structured in a way that I can be flexible and move things around, but yet I still have it so it's set up where I can see it and I don't have to think about it as much. And so when we come and sit in Sangha, we sit with a structure. We sit in this little square mat, is this structure for us that really allows us the freedom to be ourselves and drop into your hara and have that relationship with that space inside your body that teaches and trains the nervous system and the relationship with the thinking to actually rest in having structure. And it's really like when I sit here and I think of us sitting on mats, that the freedom that I feel to be me when I'm in structure like this. And the prime example is when we sit in our little box called the sauna together. And it's the structure of that box that allows me to really, I feel so much connection with everybody that I sit in sauna with, and I get to be me in a way that I really, when I'm not in a structured or environment like that, I feel like I have a hard time being myself in a way that is free and fluid like that. Like when in the Rotary Club, a lot of the times I feel like I'm more like, man, there's a lot of people, there's all this stuff going on, and I have a hard time. When I see Steve there, I can really like, he comes and gives me a big hug and we connect, and it's like, oh, I have you, you're an anchor for me, Steve, in that, but when I first started going there, it's like, there's so much happening and not as much structure that it for me, it triggers my like an anxiety in me, and so by not having structure, I experience more anxiety in my body, and when I have structure, I have less anxiety. So as we train and sit together in Sangha, that you're training your nervous system to know what it's like to be in something that is safe. And wow, what an experience to see where you're safe in your life and know the difference. And I mean, I go to the Rotary Club to stretch into this uncomfortableness, and I keep returning to it and seeing how I can continue to be myself and create a structure that feels good to my body. And one of the ways it was a handshake to most people that showed up at the Rotary Club, and I pretty much hug everybody in the Rotary Club. And so that's one way that I'm creating my own structure in that. And Katie, when I think of you in the canoe, you got that structure of the canoe. It's like you're in that vessel, and that's your structure for that, and you can really either be calling out or digging, right? And in your structure that you have for that. And I believe that that's a place you can really drop in and express yourself in this form, And so that I want to encourage all of you from the most mundane things of doing the dishes to brushing your teeth to preparing for bed to waking up, that structure can really actually help you be more in your body and less into your thinking and have that. It's a low grade anxiety that runs inside of me when I'm really paying attention to it and noticing, man, if my toothbrush is in the exact same spot when I go into that bathroom and I try and be at 8:30 to do my evening routine, and I have an evening routine, it structures it so my morning routine is like, oh, I'm up, I come and I sit, and right now I'm doing my chanting, and then I work on my book, and it's like, oh, okay, that's fluid for me. And then I have clients or a Rotary Club or sauna, I'm working out, I have all that locked in there, so I just know, and I can move it. If we're 3:33, I go and I put it at 3:33 for the sauna, and that's what I did when we talked yesterday. And so find those spots in your life that you can add structure, and you're already probably doing it, but when you honor it and acknowledge it with the same reverence that you do in Sangha, it just lowers your nervous system to be in parasympathetic, or that calm nervous system, not fight or flight. And going to bed, I find it easier to go to bed. I wake up with knowing less going into fight or flight. I used to always go into fight or flight when I'd wake up and I didn't have a time. I'm going to get out of the house, eat a quick bagel, and go. That's fight or flight, And so if I'm an hour early and I sit first and make breakfast and then get to the first meeting, life is really a lot more soft on my nervous system. And so structure is freedom. And so I want to encourage all of you, just where do you have structure, and can you expand on that structure and really make it something that you treat it like you do Sangha when you come in here and you sit together. We're practicing and modeling that structure to be authentically yourself. And so I show up for all of you from that place of, I'm not frantically coming to the Rotary Club. I know I have a time for there, and I get there and I walk up those stairs, Steve, and I'm taking my deep breaths to center myself before I go in. Or like when I go to the sauna, I know you know. And I love the check-ins that we do for the sauna because it really gives me like, okay, I'm going there. It's a reverent place, even though we're joking and playing and having a great time. Sometimes, I'm able to be in that expressiveness of myself and that playfulness because I'm more of a serious guy out in the world when I have to think and I have to be this certain way, and so to be playful like that has been just such a gift for me to really be in that energy and that container or that structure.
Can you replace structure with discipline?
Yeah.
Almost the same
Yeah.
word?
Yeah, exactly. That's another way of saying structure.
Yeah.
Having discipline in your life,
Yeah.
you know, in what areas do you have that discipline, right? And the more disciplined you are, the more that your nervous system can rest.
Right.
Yeah, it's a very, very good. Yeah.
The other thing you were saying about structuring your day,
Mm-hmm.
and I always think of what you say as does structuring limit your vision?
Mm-hmm.
You know, do you understand?
Yeah, tie it, to your vision.
Because I can see structure would limit your vision sometimes of where you want to go.
Well, it can if you don't have a clear vision, then it'll limit it. But if you have a clear vision, then you build your structure around the vision. Yeah, and the fluidity with it is the important part. Don't get rigid with, I have a vision and I have to do it like this. You gotta, especially in business, be willing to pivot and change things up, you know. But to have a vision and see that
I know how you're on vision a lot.
Yeah. Well,
and then the structure kind of would limit you. You know, it feels like it limits me.
That's right. Yeah. I would use the word, I think it limits me, but it doesn't actually. It actually enhances my vision to move that direction.
Okay, I got you.
Right? Because my mind will say, see, if you have discipline, you can't be as fluid to go to the vision. Mm-hmm. And it's actually the stimulus that actually, like me having a vision and sitting every morning and keeping my nervous system regulated makes that vision more of a reality.
Okay, I got it.
But I'm right with you on that. I used to think that same way with that. So that's a possibility to be in discipline and still have a vision and fluid at the same time.
Yeah.
Right? Because I actually I'll go to my detriment, Steve, of holding into the discipline and not softening when I need to pivot. And I'll say, I'm going this direction and really I should pivot. And that can be a trap you can fall into with discipline and structure.
I can see where you would do that.
Really?
He sees me.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
see what that feels like over the week and maybe you can reflect on that for yourself. But the key is the sensation you feel in your body when you sit is what the discipline or the structure creates, and that's the freedom.
Mm-hmm.
It's not in the cognitive, it's in the body, and trusting and listening to the body to be fluid. All right.
Water.
Yeah. All right. Let's go ahead and get into your posture. That feels good. I like your necklace.
Oh, thank you.
Yes. Got a story around that. Tell you later.
Mm.
All right. Thank you for being here. Again, if you fluff your pillows and dust off your zafu, that would be fantastic. Also want to encourage all of you, if you haven't signed up for my newsletter, to sign up for it online. I do put out a newsletter about noon time every Tuesday on email, so just with the teaching and a reminder to come tonight. So, and it does have the link for the Zoom if you ever need it. But I'll send it to you anytime. All right. Thanks for being here tonight. Really pleasure to sit together. All right. Good posture.